Hey everybody, this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming. I hope you're doing well. My playthrough of the Adventurers, the Pyramid of Horus, it got interrupted, and I'm sorry for that. My son came home with a stomach virus, and it kind of hit us all here at the house and knocked us down for a while. Once we got back up and around, we had the rush before the holidays. So I didn't have much of a chance to get back to the table here and film. I do apologize about that, but I do think that with the gameplay I've shown you so far, I think you have a feeling for how this game works. But I still have some other comments I want to share with you. Now, as we were playing along here, we had a chance to see a lot of things take place. We had a chance to see the characters move in and start searching through the sand and the water, and I think we even had a chance to unlock some of the sealed cases and get some of the more valuable treasures out, and even become cursed, right? I think some of the players even got some treasure that didn't allow them to use, like the red dye here. And so we were about to reach a point where the characters were going to need to try to get out of this pyramid before it completely collapses. So what would happen is, as the characters are gathering more and more loot, their load would increase. They can have a maximum of 12 cards. If you start getting more than that, you have to discard. And you can't throw away those wounds that you took. So all those times that poor Delroy here was bitten by a crocodile, he can't discard that. He's going to have to discard stuff like this, his necklace or other things he's carrying. Even his tool here, his crowbar. He can start discarding those to keep him down to the maximum number of 12 cards in his inventory. However, it does become more and more difficult for him to have actions on his turn. Remember, we roll these dice, and if he's carrying 12 cards, he can only take actions with any dice that's a 5 or higher. So here he's lucky to have 3 actions. Maybe on another turn the roll doesn't go his way at all, and we have something like that. Needing a 5 or higher, he's in trouble. In fact, on his turn as a player, right now it looks like he has no actions on his turn. His turn is skipped. I haven't seen in the rule book an indication that says that there is a minimum of 1 action, like you can't go below that. I see that here, but I didn't read in the text that you automatically get an action even if you don't have any that come up on the dice. So I think, unless I've missed it, I think it is possible on your turn to have nothing to do. And that rarely comes up. I think it's more likely to come up toward the later in the game. But that's kind of a downer. Well, once again, if I missed that in the rule book, please let me know. I would actually be happy to know that that wasn't the case. But as you have more or less and less actions, the turns from one player to another are going to start speeding up. You know, I make my move, it's your turn. You make your 2 steps, it's the next person's turn. It goes by pretty quickly. And that's how you try to get out of here with everything that you're carrying. So you can voluntarily start tossing aside treasure or tools or medicine or other things that you don't think you're going to need anymore to lighten your load, and that does help. But that's basically the idea of trying to finish the game, is to get out of here before you're sealed in by these the collapsing stones from the roof. So that's the Pyramid of Horus, and I thought what I'd talk to you about next is a couple of house rules we made, or I guess you could say it's closer to a variant that I use in my classroom. And it might be some rules that you might think about using if you play with younger kids, or if you want to play just a faster game. Well, let's talk about it. One of the major parts of the game is the rolling of the dice and determining the number of actions each character has. My house rules basically get rid of the need of this card. We still keep in mind there's a maximum of 12 cards that you can carry. But to keep things moving and to keep everyone kind of satisfied, in my classes, we just decided to give everybody 4 actions. Everybody has 4 actions. You don't even need to roll the dice, because that's another thing. Anytime you give little kids dice, and I'm talking, I have some in my class that are 5 years old, 6 years old. You give them these dice, and no matter what you do, these things go shooting off the table. They either don't have experience rolling the dice and they throw them. They do their best and they're trying to shake them in their hand and they drop 2, and you just start burning minutes. And when you're a teacher and you're trying to teach class, every minute is valuable. And so to really cut down on that wasted time, I decided to get rid of that and just give each character 4 actions to take on their turn. Now, Delroy here, he has a special power. And that's another thing that is a house rule, is that every character has a special power. And as you saw in my playthrough, they can only use it once per game. Well, I decided to let them use their power constantly. So everybody gets their power all the time. And the kids really liked that. It made the characters seem really different, not just different at a moment, but different throughout the game. Everybody was good at something. So if you were kind of immune to the bites of the crocodiles, your character was going to rush for the crocodile pool, and you're just basically invincible in there. Some other characters like Jose, he's always going to have an advantage. Jose was in our playthrough here. He's always going to have an advantage with his lock picking, and he's going to try to rush and pick those locks as fast as he can, because he's always going to get some help with that, because that's his thing. He's an expert lock picker. So Delroy here, one of his things when you play by the rules is if he is loaded up with 12, he can move that down 1 level. So instead of needing 5s or higher on the dice, he can take actions on 4 or higher, even though he's carrying a lot. So in our house rule here, with 4 actions for everybody, Delroy, he gets 5. And he gets 5 through the whole game. So you may be wondering that, stacking up the cards in your inventory is a big part of the game, and it starts to slow you down. Well, really, the point of this is to get out and to count the treasure, the points of treasure that you have. So, although you may get some scorpion cards and crocodile cards that start to take up those 12 slots, remember, you can't discard those. It's all about the value of the treasure you have when you get out. So, we just kind of left the whole becoming encumbered and slowing down. We just kind of left that part out of the game. So everybody stays kind of light on their feet, moving around quickly, taking 4 actions minimum, and that allows us just to have a faster game. So using powers all the time, keeping the actions to a minimum of 4, Delroy getting 5. It's been really neat watching the kids play and use their powers all the time. There's a guy that has a pistol, and in fact, I think that's him right there on the front of the box. He's got his gun there. He can shoot and blast these mummies in the face, and kids sometimes really like to play him so that they can just bang and keep shooting these mummies down and trying to get into the good boxes over here. Other characters are really good at dodging the falling stones. For example, this guy we were using, he has the the ability to look at that stone before you place it. And that was always valuable, once per game, but he gets to do it every time it's his turn. I think he's my son's favorite one to play. He really feels special being able to look at the block before he puts it down. So remember, he can look at that and see the number, and if he doesn't want that block, he'll choose another one randomly, and he has to take that one. But it just gives him a chance to make sure that he doesn't get smashed or trapped inside the pyramid. Trying to think if there was anything else. The only thing that house rule could lead to was, let's say somebody got this magic medallion here that actually gives them the same ability as his power, but since in the normal game powers are only used once per game, this would allow another character to do it one time, or it may allow him to do it again. This kind of treasure that gives someone else somebody else's power, I take that out. If they draw something like this and I haven't prepared it beforehand, we just ignore that and they draw again. And so anything that interferes with the game, normally power is only used once, and a card would allow an additional use, it's just a waste. So we kind of don't pay attention to any cards like that. And I can't remember off the top of my head how many there are. If there are more than one, I just can't recall. But those are my house rules. And the kids have a pretty good time. It's a pretty easy game to understand, and the visuals are nice. They always get excited because we do roll the dice for the mummies to see how many steps the mummies are going to move around. And they always get a thrill out of the falling blocks coming down from the ceiling. So many of the games I share on my channel are games that are new to me. And this is a game that's a little bit different. This is a game I've played a good number of times at home and in my classes, and I just wanted to share some of it with you and let you get a feel for how it played, and then also share with you an example variant of what I use in my class. I appreciate everybody watching. I did get some good games over the holidays, so I've got some additional content coming almost right away here on my channel. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you later for some more gaming fun.